Welcome to AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, and information for the purpose of connecting the global community of engineers, scientists, and other automotive industry experts. One such expert returning to AutoSens today is Paul Fernando, president of the OpenGMSL Association. And Paul, good to see you again, friend.
Likewise, Colin. Good to see you again.
So you made headlines just recently. OpenGMSL Association launching at AutoSens Detroit in June of 2025 at the Huntington Place downtown in the Motor City. Again, Paul, making headlines with that announcement, a lot of attention around that. So how has the global ecosystem responded to OpenGMSL so far?
Yeah, thanks for that, Carl. Yes, indeed. The reason why OpenGMSL is quite different from some of our competitors out there is right from the get-go, the moment we launched, we had over 50% of the global automotive car market already adopting the technology. Because as you may recall, it's based on proprietary technology from analog devices already adopted by over 25 OEMs, 50 tier ones, and over 1 billion units on the road globally. Therefore, when we released it as an open standard, right from the get-go, there was a tremendous amount of interest from all the OEMs who had already adopted the technology, because if anything, it perhaps adds more value to what they've been doing. Every single dollar they've invested in GMSL in the past now just is more efficient and effective over the long haul with OpenGMSL. So there's been a tremendous amount of interest and even more growing interest in OpenGMSL over the past couple of months, as you mentioned. I've been on the road. I've traveled to China and Japan in particular very recently. And once again, just the headlines over there. We've got a huge install base in China as well as Japan. And I think this is a huge opportunity for OpenGMSL to extend that reach even further. And we're trying to maintain the global automotive ecosystem in a cohesive manner in this geopolitical environment where things are kind of falling apart. We can talk about that a little bit too, but it's quite an interesting environment and a backdrop at which we've introduced OpenGMSL to the industry.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, Paul. I mean, you mentioned China and Japan. You have to be gaining a lot of worldwide traction in just a short amount of time since this announcement happened in June of 2025.
Yes, absolutely. So in China, for example, I think there's certainly the price war over there, and the fact that the Chinese ecosystem, we don't get much visibility into this, but they're struggling quite a lot. I think the price war has really affected the entire ecosystem, all the way from the OEMs to the tier ones and the ecosystem companies as well. And OpenGMSL really offers that community the chance to address the global automotive ecosystem as well, because as opposed to focusing on Chinese specific technologies, via OpenGMSL, they can address the broader market. And of course, there's Chinese OEMs with aspirations to reach far beyond China. And by being part of OpenGMSL, they're part of a global automotive community that eases that framework. And I guess in Japan in particular, the OEMs there, there's a diverse ecosystem even within Japan, but GMSL technology has been broadly adopted already in Japan. So from one standpoint, I guess there's not much we should be doing as well, because there's not much market to conquer there. And I think the same applies to Korea as well. But what we're trying to do is expand the ecosystems over there. We're trying to get more Japanese and Korean companies to join OpenGMSL, develop more silicon, perhaps build more imager solutions, SoC solutions that integrate OpenGMSL even further.
And with that in mind, Paul, you mentioned growing the global ecosystem worldwide. What are some of the other priorities you have in terms of association activities?
Yes, absolutely. So at the moment, a bunch of our focus is on taking the ADI specifications that we are currently accepting within OpenGMSL and ratifying it as an official OpenGMSL specification that'll be made available to the member base. That's our top priority at the moment. Along with that, we are also getting our CTS, this is the compliance test specification and associated infrastructure, up and running. CTS is absolutely critical to open standards. It's what, at the end of the day, ensures that a part from vendor A interoperates with a part from vendor B in a seamless manner across all the process corners, the situations that cars encounter throughout their lifetime. And this has been historically been one of the hardest challenges in open ecosystems. So we are taking this very seriously. We've invited some of the most leading test ecosystem companies, such as Rohde & Schwartz, Keysight, Granite River Labs. They've taken a very lead position to ensure that CTS is done very well right from the get-go.
Paul, you mentioned that you've been traveling. You've been on the ground floor here of the OpenGMSL Association, serving as president. What are some of the trends right now you see in the industry that we should be paying attention to?
Indeed. Yes, I guess the biggest megatrend that we're going through right now is the geopolitical uncertainty, right? Over the last 20 years, the global automotive industry has historically been working very closely to ensure there's efficiencies across the board. And lately, we see that local ecosystems are beginning to emerge as a result of the geopolitical uncertainty. And as OpenGMSL, we see ourselves as a global standard with localization capabilities. So ideally, what we'd like to see is silicon suppliers from each of these local markets emerge with OpenGMSL technology. And then over the long haul, what we're offering is the possibility of addressing the global automotive ecosystem. So pick any global OEM, if you will. They need localization strategies, for example, for Europe, China for China, US for US. And with OpenGMSL, we want those local ecosystems to emerge. And over the long haul, of course, it's very hard for us to say if we'll go back to an environment where there's more localization versus globalization. But what we'd like to have is basically solutions that'll apply to both cases, right? We want all bases covered.
Well said, Paul. As always, we have been speaking with Paul Fernando, president of the OpenGMSL Association, which launched at AutoSens Detroit in June of 2025. We will be looking forward, though, to seeing you again here shortly for AutoSens Europe 2025 in Barcelona, October 7th through the 9th. Until then, Paul, thank you for being with us, at least virtually anyway.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Carl. I look forward to seeing you and all our viewers on October 7th in Barcelona. Appreciate this.
For more information on the OpenGMSL Association and to find out more about our upcoming events, see the links in the description or visit auto-sense.com. That's auto-sense.com. And for more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to the AutoSense YouTube channel and follow AutoSense on LinkedIn. In Detroit, on behalf of AutoSense, I'm Carl Anthony.